No!
So, hey guys, how's it going? UFC 230 co-main event. Dustin Poirier versus Nate Diaz is no longer a go. Poirier has been injured, according to Brett Okamoto. Let me read you his tweet. Real quick. Breaking. Dustin Poirier has suffered an undisclosed injury. Per multiple sources, he is off.
No, please!
UFC 230 co-main event against Nate Diaz in New York. I asked Dana White via text if this means he'll move Valentina Shevchenko back to Toronto against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. He responded, yes. Also confirmed directly with Daniel Cormier, he's accepted the Darius Lewis fight at UFC 230 on November 3rd, Madison Square Garden. But more importantly, Dustin Poirier is not fighting Nate Diaz at UFC 230 in November. This card is cursed. Shocker. ARIEL HELWANI also tweeted that they were looking at the possibility of Ferguson versus Diaz, but there has been no confirmation from the UFC or Dana White on either of those theories. So as far as we know, Nate Diaz is the card, and there will be a completely different co-main event for UFC 230.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, what do you guys think about Ferguson versus Nate Diaz at UFC 230?
Let me tell you what I think.
Tell me what you think, Mystic Moss.
I think that I'm pretty upset right now.
About?
That Dustin Poirier is not going to be fighting Nate Diaz. In fact, I'm really sad.
How sad are you?
I'm really, really sad right now,
Yeah.
Jessie. I'm very sad. UFC 230, there was only one fight that anyone gave a fuck about. Got a little excited about the Black Beast versus DC. It's not a perfect fight. Could possibly be a very lopsided fight, but it's still fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dustin Poirier wanted a 165 belt, a championship fight against Nate Diaz, and broke his pussy. Now this pussy is broken, which Conor McGregor has never pulled out of a fight, just to be clear.
This isn't about Conor McGregor.
I'm sorry, whoops, I got sidetracked. Dustin Poirier single-handedly destroyed UFC 230. Now
it was not his fault for getting injured.
Now Nate Diaz, if you're watching, and I know you're a big MMA hole, Nate Diaz, I need you to fight somebody. My cousin said, how about Colby Covington versus Nate Diaz at 170? How about that?
I'm not down with it.
Or how about Nick Diaz, which is the fight to make. Nick Diaz, Colby Covington. Nick Diaz, why don't you get your thumb out of your pussy and get back into the cage and fight Colby Covington? Because that's the fight to make. Nick Diaz versus Colby Covington is the fight to make.
How about Kevin Lee?
Kevin Lee versus Al Iaquinta is another fight to make. Part 2, the rematch. Nate Diaz needs a fight. If he doesn't get Tony Ferguson.
If Nate Diaz does not get Tony Ferguson, there is a 99.9% chance that Nate Diaz will be pulled from the UFC 230 card.
If Nate Diaz gets pulled off the UFC 230 card, I'm going to take all the MMA holes and we're going to light the UFC training facility on fire. Okay? We have 63 people watching. I'm going to take all of you. We're going to get sticks. Actually, not sticks. We're going to get 2x4s. And we're going to light the 2x4s on fire. And we're going to fling them through the windows at the UFC facility with all of our pants off and scream Wakanda. if Nate Diaz is off that card, because no. Then we're going to fly back over to the Madison Square Garden. And then we're going to light the Madison Square Garden on fire as well. With Valentina Shevchenko and Eubanks in the building. Just because we don't want to watch Eubanks fight. Right, Trunk? You down?
They're not fight. Oh, by the way, I have to bring that up as well. Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's other news.
I'll just cry over here.
In other news, Valentina Shevchenko and Sijara Eubanks, as we all know, is not the main event for UFC 230, given that Derek Lewis, the Black Beast versus Daniel Cormier, is now the official main event. According to a repost by ARIEL HELWANI earlier today, Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk is the better fight, but she was offered a fight. Eubanks was offered a fight and signed a bout agreement. However, that bout agreement was not abided by. Therefore, UFC 231, Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk is now in place.
I don't care anymore, Jessie. I don't care. All I care about right now is UFC 230. That's what I care about. And I feel I have a lawsuit here. I feel that I can sue the UFC for this traumatic experience. Not only did we not have a main event for how long, but the fight that everyone, well, not me, but everyone else wanted to be the main event for the 165-pound title, or I would have even handled a 5-round fight between Nate and Poirier, has been taken away from me. I feel I have a lawsuit on my hands. Jessie.
How much do you think you can earn from this lawsuit?
I feel I'm traumatized.
Yeah.
I'm very traumatized. Now, let me know in the chat if you're traumatized by this news. What do you say? Nate Diaz is not fighting Dustin Poirier. UFC 230, we have Daniel Cormier and the Black Beast as the main event, which I'm cool with. But we wanted Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier. I'm going to ask you, people. See, I need to be compensated. Peter knows. Are you two seeing each other? Hold on, let me answer that question for you. I see you. Do you see me?
I see you.
We're seeing each other. What do you think in the chat? Okay, how do we fix this problem? This is the one I'm going to ask 80 people right now, right? I'm traumatized for something else. Okay, Mohammed, fair enough. Your name is Mohammed.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I'm just stating the obvious.
Okay.
What do you think in the chat? We need your help. Okay, ICUP, ICUP. We need to know, how do we keep Nate Diaz on this card? How the fuck? What about if we have Nate Diaz versus Nick Diaz?
What?
The lovers. The two, they love each other. Nate Diaz versus Nick Diaz.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever
The only
heard.
way to save UFC 230 is Nate versus Nick. So I'm saying. What do you guys say in the chat? All right.
Smartasses. You are a cute couple.
Thank you.
So don't be a smartass.
See, Greg Oden blazes down. Artem would save the card. Is Artem even fighting? Raging Al, Kevin Lee, or Justin Gaethje? Yeah, we said that earlier. Raging versus Kevin. I'm down for number 2. Justin Gaethje.
I don't know about Justin Gaethje. I can see.
What do you mean you don't know about? You wouldn't want to see Justin Gaethje versus like a Justin Gaethje Al, Justin Gaethje Kevin Lee. Boop, I'm good with that. Ally Quinta Lee.
Justin Gaethje Kevin Lee.
Yeah. I'd be down with that.
I feel like it'd be like a.
Yeah, it would be Lee destroying Justin Gaethje. That's what it would be. Nick is walking around at 210 right now, says Tyson. Al versus Gaethje. Al versus Gaethje, I mean, that was supposed to happen. I would take it. I think Raging Al should be on the card. It's MSG. Put Al back in MSG, right? He's a New York guy. Pay Al to save the card. Raging Al versus Nate Diaz. Raging Al Iaquinta versus Nate Diaz.
I'm not down with it.
Make it happen, Dana. Raging Al Iaquinta versus Nate Diaz. That's what I want. I'm done. I dropped the mic. Raging Al Nate.
Why would you want Raging Al Nate?
Because it'd be fire. That'd be a firefight. You don't think so?
You don't think Ferguson Nate would be a firefight?
Ferguson just fought.
So they were still talking about putting Ferguson on the card.
No,
They said that
here's
they
the thing.
couldn't get Ferguson versus Diaz.
If you put Ferguson on this card, you ruin Ferguson. We just got him back after 5 months of that surgery, that rehab over there. let's mold that KHABIB Ferguson. Let's make it happen this time around. Don't drag him against Nate Diaz. You're burning out your best 155er.
Not really.
Don't put him against Nate.
Diaz is gonna come in with ring rust, and we all know it.
Don't do it. Colby versus Kevin Lee. Yeah, Kevin Lee could fight Colby at 170. The problem with Colby Covington, and I do want to see Colby on the card, is Colby has the belt, the interim belt. He never really got stripped from it. I mean, he should be stripped, right? But he's still running around with that belt. So is he the interim champ? I don't know. I don't know if Colby comes on unless Colby is fighting a crazy money fight like a Nick Diaz. Colby has Clarendon, not a belt. Okay. Till versus Nate.
What?
Says Tal. You're not going to see that. Let's see. Give me some more advice over here.
How about Lewis fighting in less than a month again? Shit's crazy, not enough time.
JL, I get why both sides.
It's crazy.
I get why both sides want to do it, though. DC sees a layup.
You had Lewis at what? UFC 226 was Lewis? Against Ngannou. And then you have Lewis again, UFC 229. Was there a Lewis fight between 226? No, there wasn't. It was just
no, Derek Lewis,
Ngannou?
He came off of the fight versus Ngannou, right?
And
now he came back and he fought Volkov.
Right.
And
now he's going to come back again for...
Went 3 rounds.
Is that enough time? That is the question. For a main event...
Derek Lewis is an immortal man.
5-round
Derek
main
Lewis is a specimen of a man. He's a specimen, Derek Lewis. The Black Beast could do whatever he wants. It's definitely risky. It could be arguably stupid by Derek Lewis to do this.
It's retarded. Why? Why?
You know why? I'll tell you why. If I was
Derek, the first round. Thank you, JLW. He did, didn't he?
If I was Derek Lewis, nah, fuck the gas.
Nah, he got gassed.
He got gassed and then knocked him out. He got gassed. You know that gas tank.
He got gassed and then he got lucky with a swing. That's what happened. Volkov had so many chances.
I'm not here for the casual talk.
Whatever. That's not casual talk. I'm not here for
casual talk.
That's not casual talk.
You know you're full of shit.
You know that's not casual talk because
third round knockout. 11 seconds left. Derek Lewis gassed is not a problem.
He got gassed.
Now, if you're the Black Beast,
5-round fight against Daniel Cormier, the double champ.
If you're the Black Beast, right, and someone says, "Hey, buddy," and MSG, there's a spot open.
Right.
Who'll give you a title shot? You're telling me.
He's gonna take it, even though I have just come off of a fight.
That's a fighter. A fighter takes that fight. Derek Lewis is a fighter. Yeah, now, is he gonna win? Listen, I mean, you're preaching the obvious. You're preaching the obvious here. Well, everyone's gonna be picking DC. Obvious. Everyone's gonna be picking DC in that fight. But what I'm saying is this: if you're the Black Beast and someone throws that fucking belt in your face, you're not gonna take that fight. Of course, you're gonna take that fight and the money.
I'm not saying he's wrong for wanting to take the fight. I'm saying he should have planned it better.
You think I should fight Fat Time on UFC 230? I think that would save it. Or maybe we should do a Mark Raimondi midget toss at UFC 230, right? Yeah. Instead, let's just switch it up. We do UFC 230, right? We have a co-main event, and then the main event happens. Like Derek Lewis versus Daniel Cormier is the co-main event, right? The main event would be a midget tossing contest with Mark Raimondi. Me and you will go one-on-one. I challenge you to a Mark Raimondi midget tossing contest. I guarantee I can toss.
Why would I need to be in there?
Because we're going to go against each other. You versus me, Jessie. I challenge you right now to a Mark Raimondi midget tossing contest. We got to go from cage to cage. You got to toss him to the other side of the cage.
I would win easily.
Would you like to see that? Conor is still one of the GOATs, is Infinity. It's a very true statement. Conor should step up and fight Nate. Yeah, that's not happening. Lee, see it. Let's see it. So 9-6 wants it. Conor not a GOAT. Let me know in the chat. We got Buck32 watching. Welcome to the MMA-Holes. If you live under a rock, let's lift up the rock and tell you what's going on here. Dustin Poirier is out of the fight, UFC 230. And like the video, what is going on here? 131 people with 24 likes. Get off your fucking ass and fucking click that like, just for the fuck of it. All right.
Brett Okamoto says Stipe Miocic sent a statement to me on today's UFC 230 announcement. Said he spoke to the UFC about that date a while back, but didn't get an offer for the DC rematch he's been asking for.
Wow. We kind of lit Stipe on fire a little bit. It's like, why are you not ready for this? Why are you not ready to step in for UFC 230? If you really wanted that rematch, where is Stipe? And now he's making excuses. I was a big Stipe fan. Like, before the DC thing, I was a big Stipe guy. I like Stipe, and I still think he's a good dude, but I just don't like how he's handling this. Stay ready. If you want that belt back, you stay ready. UFC 230 is a shit show. You mean to tell me you can be lobbying for that fight? It's a joke. I'm glad the Black Beast is there. Stipe versus Kane. I'm a big fan of Jessie. Bandwagon. Sean Hart.
Who's a big fan of Jessie?
Oh, hold on. I can go back, but it's too much work.
I'll go back. I'm a big fan of Infinity Conscious.
There you go. Diaz versus Ferguson. Please, Vanchit, man, we do not want to see that. It ruins Ferguson. Well, I mean, listen, the fight's fantastic, but why would you want to ruin Tony Ferguson? Why would you want to take away that Tony Ferguson-Khabib fight that we are owed, you know? Put Diaz versus an ally Quinta, you know? Make that shit happen. I would even take Diaz versus Lee.
Still no comment from Nate Diaz right now, as first reported by Bokamoto ESPN. His UFC 230 fight versus Dustin Poirier off after Poirier recently suffered an injury. No word on if he'll remain on the card, says ARIEL HELWANI.
Conor versus midgets. Where the hoes at? Get Tony versus Khabib then. Listen,
Tony versus Khabib.
If we can pull Khabib back from Russia, and say, hey buddy, get ready to cut that weight again, it would be fantastic.
Tony
yes.
versus Khabib.
There's no way it's gonna happen. Don't even contemplate that. There's no way Khabib's gonna go back into another camp and destroy his body to try to cut weight to hit Madison Square Garden. Never happening. And even Tony.
No, I agree. I think
it's dumb to even throw that out there. It's dumb. It doesn't make sense.
But the fact that someone's thinking Tony versus Khabib, and you just said a real fighter like.
We got to think logical here,
like,
Jesse.
No. Listen to me.
How dare you?
I never get to talk. Like a real fighter, you said like a real fighter, Black Beast took his fight from 226 to 229 and now 230. He's doing one right after the other. You said that's a real fighter. Tony Ferguson just fought 229. If they get Ferguson versus Diaz, that's a real fighter.
Jesse, this is a
event.
whole nother bag of tricks you got going on here.
No, it's not.
Tony versus Khabib
It's not,
has been scheduled
it's
5.
The same
Hold on.
concept.
Why can't I talk now?
Okay.
Tony versus Khabib has been scheduled 5 times.
Yes.
Okay. Each one burnt in flames. So you're gonna just throw this together in like a month and a half, or was it? Yeah, you know that's just lunacy.
It's not lunacy.
We want to see it, but it's impossible. You're talking impossibilities.
Someone doesn't think it's impossible for Khabib Ferguson to happen.
At UFC 230, it is physically impossible for Khabib to get back into another camp.
Doubt
and
it.
Cut weight.
Doubtful.
A man, first of all,
Doubtful.
Khabib Nurmagomedov fighting at 155 is like Conor fighting at 145. It's that much of a weight cut, you know. Khabib fighting at 155.
No, I'm talking about Ferguson.
Okay, both of them. Tony
No,
Ferguson.
Ferguson is in pristine condition.
Ferguson is coming off of a major surgery and came back like 4 months earlier than he should have.
That surgery is already. Oh, he's recovered from that.
Anthony Pettis was targeting his leg in the last fight. You mean to tell me you don't want to see him heal up and come back healthy for a fight against Khabib? What?
No, I don't want to see him fight
fucking
Khabib.
sakes! What kind of lunacy you speak, woman? Mark Ramoney's going far. Let me know in the chat.
I should slap the head off his shoulders.
You know you're wrong.
No,
you
you're
Fuchs have been beefing since Khabib Conor kiss and make up, but after JBH is she's
we don't
fine.
beef. We
No,
very passionate about the sport. So if we disagree on
lunacy.
something, he speaks lunacy.
He said he could fight next week, Ferguson.
Boom, boom. Thank you,
Oh
JDog209. Boom, boom. Suck it. I mean, suck it. Not you. I love you guys.
Oh my god, my brain cells. Do you think that the UFC is gonna risk Tony Ferguson at UFC 230? And if they do, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. You're robbing us of Khabib versus Tony. You're robbing us.
Why do you want Khabib versus Tony and not a Khabib rematch with Conor?
Thank you, Sean Hart. It's come on. You got to let's speak logically here. Let's not get a little ridiculous. Diaz versus Conor or Ferguson. Conor can't even come back. Colby versus Nate, that's something. But if that happens, it's got to be at 170. You know, I don't know if that's the fight. I don't know if Colby wants anything but Woodley now.
Yeah, Colby's aiming for Woodley 100%.
I know you want Ferguson, guys. I know you want it, but you got to think logically.
I want Ferguson. I think that'd be a good fight.
The guy got fucking he tripped over a fucking HDMI cable, for God's sakes. I mean, this guy you need to keep in a bubble. How about Ortega versus Diaz? Something that you can think about, right? But they're not going to ruin. They're
No, Ortega Holloway is the biggest fight.
Yeah, right now Ortega is one of those guys that they have a path for. You know, they're guiding Ortega in that path.
Ortega is a fucking badass.
Ortega's about to get smoked.
He's a fucking badass, Ortega.
She's trolling him, but he doesn't perceive. What is this? Hold on, I want to read because I have a bunch of emojis. She's trolling him, but he doesn't perceive. Ha 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 ha. She's trolling him, but he doesn't perceive. Ha ha ha. She's trolling him, but he doesn't perceive. Ha 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 ha. She's trolling him, but he doesn't perceive. Thank you. Thank you for that. Max Holloway versus Ortega is probably untouchable. That's probably not going to happen.
I always pick the winners.
I think that
Ortega's got this, guys. Just mark my words.
All right, but I think that Nate Diaz versus an Ally Quinta swooping in, that seems like a juicy one to me. It seems juicy. Let me know what you got in the chat.
For the co-main event?
Yeah. DVW, I'll slap you. Last time, number 5 ranked fighter Alvarez. Ortega versus Conor at 155.
Jose Aldo versus Nate Diaz.
Jose Aldo, who's been calling out Conor on social media. I chimed in on Jose Aldo and I said, yeah, Conor needs a tune-up fight, so make it happen, Dana. Trump versus Putin, that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't think Nate will fight Al either, Brett.
Nate won't fight Al?
Yeah, I don't think
Why won't Nate fight Al?
Nate doesn't want Al.
Why not?
What, would you want Al if you were Nate?
Al's just as good as Poirier. I went 5 rounds with Khabib. Al's the GOAT. Let's see.
I would want Poirier. I would want Ferguson. That's what if
everyone.
I was
all right,
Poirier,
so let me put it to you this way: everyone wants
Al.
Everyone wants Ferguson, but it's not. You know, Ferguson's not going to fight on that card. I mean, if you really think it,
it's possible.
Money wise, it's a joke though. Says Mark Yahoo. What are you talking about? Al versus Diaz? Yeah. Here's the thing: Diaz is going to get paid his purse no matter what. It doesn't matter who he's fighting. Diaz on that card is going to be making the exact same amount of money with I mean, do you think Dustin Poirier is a money draw? He's not a money draw. Nate Diaz is the money draw.
You don't think that the hype that they did for Twitter, that's not going to be...
Dustin Poirier versus Nate Diaz is a fantastic fight. Dustin's not the money. Nate Diaz is the money. Nate Diaz is the money. Nate Diaz versus a fucking bag of rocks is going to make money. Nate Diaz comes back, Stockton slaps. That's all the UFC wants. They just want to put a body in front of him. You know, they're not fighting for a belt. Hey Diaz, it's over. Save your money. Says internal. Nate Diaz versus Woodley. Nate's a weirdo. Slap. Moss is right. Nate Diaz versus Nick Diaz. You know, I said that before. It's a smart person over there. Put the brothers against each other. Make it happen. That's what I need.
Do that?
Diaz versus Lee, I like. You know, Kevin Lee, it will be. Yeah, Kevin Lee, I'm down. Kevin Lee's weird. He's been lurking on Instagram, but he hasn't thrown his name in the hat. Nate versus Nate. Good one, John Smith.
Nate
Kevin Lee
versus
versus
Nick
Diaz.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to do that.
A lot of people in the chat. Put your votes in right now.
I'm not saying people don't want it to happen. I'm saying it won't happen. I don't think Dana White would put that together.
Put what?
Nate Nick.
No. First of all, hold on.
He always laughs.
No, I'm laughing because we're joking. We're joking. Like we would like to see that.
About it literally.
You think Dana? Hold on. Do you think Nate and Nick would even say, "Hey, let's fight each other"?
Yeah, I think they would. My brothers would. Not all brothers are like you and your brother.
Diaz versus Gaethje. Give her a break, bro.
He never gives me a break.
All right, Nate versus Nick it is.
Everything I say.
I said Nate and Nick before. You laughed at me. Now you're like, I really think we should make Nate and Nick Diaz. And I was joking around before. And you're serious about Nate and Nick.
I am because I'm thinking about it literally.
Yeah, they always said they never fight. I mean, Khabib will only fight Kevin and Tony, says Nader. Pull Mike Perry to fight Nate. Mike Perry should fight Nate, but it would probably be at 170. JBH is delusional. Yeah, she is sick, so you got to give her a break. Lee versus Khabib. Says, yeah, Khabib and Ferguson, I think you got to take out of the equation, right? So you got to look at the other 155ers, or you can have Nate fight at 170 versus somebody, you know, someone that floats around, you know, 170-ish, some super fight. But Nate's got to be on that card. You got to think this, right? Let's ask the question of this. I'm sitting in front of my parents' house right now. We're supposed to be going home, but we love you guys so much we waste gas and hang with the boys. We're on the YouTube thing. Our Streamlabs does not work, so if you do donate it, it's only super chats. Just want to make that clear. I'm trying to stay neutral like Swiss. Hi, Chris and Jessie. What's up, Richie? Diaz versus Lee. A lot of people are saying it. Diaz Lee. Hold on. He says you can't give. I want to see what the rest is. You can't give him a guy like Gaethje. Nate won't have any more brain after that. Here's the thing. Hold on. Let's do this. Why isn't it going down? Okay. So Nate versus Nate versus Gaethje, Ally Quinta, Kevin Lee. All good for me. Make any of those happen, I am completely fine with any of those fights. In fact, I don't miss Poirier then. Any of those fights, I'm down. I'm down because I want to see Nate back in there, and they're all good fights. So I'm good with any of those fights, right? What do you think about that? Those 3 fights.
I'm afraid to open my mouth.
Why? So you're just looking for a reason to disagree.
No.
No. What do you think about Nate, Kevin Lee, Gaethje, and Ally Quinta? Those 3 over there.
I'm not down for Gaethje. I already said that. I'm not down for Gaethje.
So why are you not down for Gaethje?
I just don't think that he's a good match for. I like Gaethje as a fighter.
Gaethje is like a brawler. You wouldn't want to see that against Diaz?
No. I just don't like it. I just personally don't like it. But Kevin Lee, I could see.
Gaethje versus Lee. It would be another strike, says Steve Ross. Diaz Gaethje is money. Yeah, I agree. I mean, how would you... Gaethje versus Diaz is 2 zombies going in there that don't fucking... That literally let their faces play as punching bags. You really wouldn't want to see that, huh?
No.
Are you disagreeing just to disagree, or are you dead serious?
No, I'm dead serious.
Sometimes I'm confused. What do you guys think about that? Gaethje is a couple of fights from dying. Yeah, I know. It's true. DC versus Black Beast. Yankees coming back. Lawler versus Diaz at 170. Robbie Lawler. Nate Diaz at 170. Lawler's in talks against Wonder Boy, and I don't think Lawler's at that stage where I don't think they're just going to throw him in short notice anywhere. Colby Covington versus Diaz catch weight. You know what? That was brought up, and I don't hate that. I don't hate that. A Colby Covington shit-talking Nate Diaz at catch weight. I'm down with that. John Bones versus Nate Diaz. Homer versus Diaz would work. Black Beast versus Food. Do a burnout. You orange-haired homo, says Steve Johnston. Colby beats. Chris midget tossing is a good idea, right? I agree, Vigo. It's going to be Conor, easy return.
Versus Joan Rivers.
Robin Morris. Yeah, it's true. It's true. DC versus Black Beast headlining UFC 230. It's on you. No, yeah, we spoke about that earlier. Thanks for showing up. Tony says Jay Jordan. Tony. Fuku Chris. Whoa, I lost you. Why are you lying? Where's Dustin? I know, Kenshiro. This is fucked up news. This is fucked up news. We need to get someone against Nate Diaz. We need to make it happen. Conor versus Mayweather. Mini Mendez versus Diaz. I don't think that's gonna happen. Gaethje versus Diaz equals wheelchair versus wheelchair. We rating MSG. Let's go, team MMA-Holes. Yeah, Kenshiro. Let's just light the fucking Madison Square Garden on fire, right? Son of Sand coming up behind you. There's the MMA-Holes logo, by the way. We have it on the back of the car. We are fucking hardcore over here. 200 peeps watching. What's going on? 200 friends? 200 people with 48 likes. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Jesse, tell them why to like this. And push my mirror out. I didn't realize it was him. Why should they like this?
Because we're the swollest MMA channel on YouTube.
Diaz versus Ferg. Yes, I want to see that fight. It's just an impossibility. Jimmy Manuwa versus Diaz. Mendez versus Gaethje. I'm swole, Jesse. I got a mustache going to my nose. Swole Jesse is swole, and Chris, you semi-swole. We can gangbang 3-way MSG like Khabib, corner, gangbang my son Conor. See, Ken, me and Ken, we know what it's about. We know what it's about. Nick Diaz versus Ferguson. I want to see Nick Diaz versus Colby Covington. Like I would like to see that fight. That's one of the few Nick Diaz fights where I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm down with that.
So no news.
Show Chris the money. No news. Jesse's updating the news right now. Brett Okamoto talking about Poirier out of UFC 230. Chrissy Metz versus Butterbean. Nate versus Aldo. Jose Aldo calling out Conor. Wants a rematch.
That would be cool, Nate versus Aldo.
Nate versus Aldo at 155.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, though.
I would watch it.
I don't think Jose Aldo is the type of guy that's going to be coming in right now, short notice at this point. I don't know. Listen, where's Raging? Where's Raging Al, man? New York. That's what I'm saying. Like how he came in flying in for KHABIB. It just kind of makes sense. You'll put asses in the seats. It's MSG. You need to sell tickets, right? That's what it's about, selling pay-per-views and tickets at this point. So Nate Diaz is going to sell the pay-per-views. You want to put asses in the seats, too. Why not put Raging Al there? Justin
Do you think Al
Gaethje.
would sell the tickets?
They
Do you
did it
really
with
think so?
with Khabib. They picked
No, they
Al
did
over
it
everyone
with-
else.
No,
They picked Al over everyone else.
A lot of people who bought UFC 223 tickets already before Raging Al came in, they just saw that situation. They're like, well, I'm not gonna fucking return my ticket now. So they just went. I don't think Al had anything to do with putting those asses in the seats. I think the original Ferguson versus Khabib and Holloway versus Khabib put the asses in the seats. And by the time Raging Al came into the picture, everyone was like, well, I've already got my fucking ticket. I might as well go to the event.
Okay, Raging Al versus Khabib was our third highest rated video
Because he
ever.
still wanted to see. There was such a
you got
hype over
Khabib
223.
and Raging Al. You got that New York swag. They picked him for a reason, you know. At MSG. Now this is a New York thing. If it was at MGM, Raging Al's not in the equation. You know what I'm saying? You want to put asses in the seats. You want to put eyeballs on the pay-per-views. It's got that hometown, Raging Al vibe. I think it's a fight. Kevin Lee, I think it's a fight. Justin Gaethje, I think that's a fight. Those are three guaranteed over there. Al versus Nate, let's do it. UFC, says Isaiah Moore, right? I mean, think about it. Just think of all the reasons why that works. Raging Al Iaquinta works, Nate won't show. And you know what? You're great. No, not Al, says Brett. Nate won't show. And that's probably what's going to happen. We're probably going to lose Nate altogether. I like Al versus Nate, says Vlad. Drunk Savage. Khabib versus Colby. Who do you pick? If they full camp Khabib? Here's the thing. Do you think Khabib, let me ask you this question. This has nothing to do with anything else, but do you think that Khabib will retire at 155, or do you think he'll eventually go up to 170
He'll go
one
up
time?
to 170.
He says he's not going to do it.
No, I think he'll do it.
You think he will do
100%.
it? What do you think in the chat? Because he did make it very clear he's never going to 170, but I think I would like to see him at 170. Let me make something. There's something I've been thinking about. Actually, I'll save this conversation for tomorrow, but you can answer that question. Poirier got USADA'd. I think he'll retire at 155. Nate Diaz versus Max Holloway, says
I don't
Cox.
think they're going to do Nate Diaz versus Max Holloway because they still need Holloway versus Ortega for 232, 231.
Michael Anzalone says, I think he'll retire at 155. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I think Khabib, this is the weird thing about Khabib. The dude's, 27-0 now? And how many fights has he got left? I think he's going to fight like one or two more fights and then just like hide off in some fucking snowy place in Russia and just vanish.
Drunk Savage, GSP still has colitis. He got colitis from UFC 217. That's what I was just talking about with him, was he got colitis for his weight cut against Bisping in 217. And ever since then, he hasn't been able to return to his fullest as well as he has, because his health is fucked up. That weight cut that he had for 217 fucked him up. So even if he gets himself into a condition where he can fight again, which I'm sure he will, he's not going to be at his best.
Can you imagine that? By the way, and she's right. GSP, yeah, he's out of the equation. But could you imagine, Conor McGregor just does swoop in?
I know.
Could you fucking imagine?
No, it's not gonna happen.
Do you think? I never really. This just kind of broke, right? And I don't think it's gonna happen. But could you imagine if Conor's got to be sitting there right now, he's suspended 10 days, right?
Yeah.
Is he medically suspended? Oh, we got a super chat over there.
Yeah, medically.
Hey, Grindin, thank you for the super chat, motherfucker.
It could be both.
Appreciate it, Grindin.
You could have two different.
Yo, super chat the motherfucker tonight. We're sitting in the car with the boys. Thank you, Grindin Shadows. Wait, go ahead. Finish your thought. I was excited about the super chat. So you think
it could be both. It could be two different types of suspension piled on top of each other. There could be one for medical suspension, and there could be another for what occurred that night after the fight.
So think about this. Conor has what? He has 6 fights. Was that counting his last fight, his contract? So does he have 5 left?
I think it's no. I think the 6-fight contract starts after Khabib.
So let me know in the chat what that's about. Now, if Conor McGregor, all right, if Conor McGregor has a 6-fight contract, he might be able to.
6 including Khabib.
It's including. Okay,
so
that makes sense.
5 fights left.
5 fights. Conor's got to be sitting there, fuck it, let's go. The thing is, Nate Diaz looks like a fucking shredded beast right now. Nate Diaz is focused. Would Conor go in there on a short notice?
Khabib versus Aldo.
Khabib versus Aldo.
Imagine that.
Yeah, listen. No, that would be disaster for Aldo.
You think so?
Yeah,
Well,
that's not good. Nate Diaz is uneducated Mexican. This is a big dummy. Nate shredded picks got Dustin scared. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Dustin ran for the hills when he saw it. Shredded Nate. Why he pull out? He's undisclosed injury or some shit like that.
oh, you know what? Someone just said he's not allowed to fight in New York, so they wouldn't put Conor on. They wouldn't put Conor on the 230 card.
Is Conor like banished from fighting in New York? I don't know if that's the case.
I think with the lawsuit, he's still in a lawsuit. I think after all of that, I'm sure he'll be able to fight in New York if this is the case.
I think the time's passed since his.
He still has lawsuits from Chiesa. Michael Chiesa filed lawsuits against him, and that's under the state of New York because that's where the crime happened.
Yeah, maybe that is the case. You know, it's funny. No one's really talking about that. I would like to check social on that one. Check Conor. Check Conor's Twitter. Conor has. I mean, talk about a fucking
suspended from fighting in New York.
It is suspended from. All right, so don't even bother. RDA can't make 155. No, take RDA out of the equation. That was a bitch. They won't give Conor a huge fine or suspension. He good. Ferguson versus KHABIB. How else does Conor return? Well, yeah, Conor. You know, I tell you what. If he wasn't still suspended, if he wasn't still suspended, this would be a nice redemption fight for him. Real quick, coming back in. And Conor's, you know, he's made some reckless decisions before like this. But yeah, let's take him out of the equation. So Conor's out. I'm telling you what, and take Ferguson out. I don't see it. I really don't. I think they're saving Ferguson. They're not going to throw him into this thing. Doesn't make sense for Tony either. Why would Tony go here? He deserves a title shot. He should be fighting Nate Diaz. Just makes no sense. Nate versus Edgar. Nate could fight a 170. Yeah, you know what? You're not the only person that said it. A lot of people are saying Nate at a 170. You know, versus someone else. Nate's like there just for money, right? How about Nate versus Colby Covington? You know, we've been talking about Colby Covington versus Nick Diaz. What about Nate versus Colby Covington? Platinum Perry versus Nate? I'd like to see that.
No.
I'd like to see it. Platinum's been fucking super vocal all over the place.
Platinum, you don't think he's lost his luster a little bit? Platinum?
Mike Perry? No, well, no, he's got the cowboy fight, so he's not gonna fight. Nate versus Nick. I love it. I'm telling you, we said in the beginning of the stream, Nate versus Nick Diaz would be the fucking money fight. Make the brothers go at it, but you know, come on. Diaz versus Muhammad. Colby Covington will destroy
John
Nate.
Jones versus the police.
The best fight ever would be Michael Mommy Chiesa versus Artem the Great Lobov. Artem Lobov should swoop in, right? Wow, we got a fired up chat room. 242 peeps. Welcome. How many people right now are new to the show? Ones if you're new, twos if you're OGs or you just came in the other night. Nate versus Lee, 170 fun fight. All right, so we got one new. We got a bunch of olds over there. Hey, what's up, Dan? What's up?
Junk Savage, you're not new.
Yeah, Junk Savage is playing games. What's up, Shane? This is Steve Johnson. We know you. Corey Looper, what up, Corey?
Michelin.
We got the old peeps over there. We got WMMAC. We're not supposed to be live right now. We're outside my parents' house. My cousins from Michigan are in, and we decided to go to the car and talk to you friends because it's a big story. We're supposed to be home in bed, cuddled, spooning. All right, there's the OGs. What up, OGs? Bruce, Country Fish,
I've
crazy.
been watching UFC for about 10 years.
Good stuff. Hey, let me know how Chris Weidman versus Dad. Yeah. That's my boy! That's my boy! Fucking Chris Weidman. I've ran into him a bunch of times. Like, you coming on? Yeah, man, I'm coming on. And just fucking blowing me off. Eddie Truck Gordon. I don't know. If Eddie Truck Gordon's watching, if you're in the chat, Eddie Truck Gordon, show yourself. I think Eddie should take this opportunity to negotiate a good deal for himself to step in. Whoa. On short notice. Eddie. Eddie who? Eddie Alvarez? You know what? Eddie Alvarez, did he ever sign with ONE FC? Eddie Alvarez, yeah. Did he sign with them? I know Bellator pretty much ruled him out because he wants too much money. Eddie versus Nate Diaz would be fire. He's a free agent still. Nate Diaz and Clay Guida. What do you got?
I'm gonna have to pee soon, so.
You have to pee? Go use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Use the bathroom?
No.
They're still up.
No.
You want to pee on? You want to pee on the sidewalk? You want to hit me with the ones in the chat if you want what Jessie piss on the sidewalk. Eddie's still free. I wish Eddie was back with the UFC. That'd be nice. Oh, here we come. The ones are coming. They want to see you piss on the sidewalk.
Yeah. One possible candidate for Diaz could be top-rated lightweight contender Tony Ferguson, who returned from April knee surgery Saturday at UFC 229 and defeated former champ Anthony Pettis, whose trainer stopped the fight after 2 rounds.
Mark my words. I'm going to make a very bold prediction here. You could let me you make me eat my hat if I'm wrong about this prediction. Tony El Kukui Ferguson will not be on UFC 230. Mark my fucking words. That is not happening. I know people want to see it. I would like to see it, but there is no way in hell Tony Ferguson is going to be on UFC 230. 5-fight deal with the UFC. Nope, that's fake news. Bellator does not want Eddie. All right. Tony versus Khabib. Did we get to 15,000 subscribers, Jesse? Check this sub thing. Let's see where we're at. We have 15,000. Let me know in the chat. If we're not, yo, sub. Kevin Lee versus Nate. A lot of people liking that Kevin Lee versus Nate. I'm down for that. Kevin Lee versus Nate is tough because of this. You know, it's tough for him to hit that weight. So is he going to be able to make weight in time? That could be the problem for Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee has that tough time. Kevin Lee versus Nate at a catch weight, then you'll see it happen. We're 10 away. Yo, hit the subs, motherfuckers. Hit those subs if you're not sub. I still read the newspaper. You have to pee, don't you? How bad are we peeing? You gotta pee in the car?
No.
You can pee on the emails? Diaz versus Barboza. Kevin Lee can't make weight. He's got too much muscle, says Jake Troy. Yeah. All right, we're going to have to scrap Kevin Lee. Unless Kevin Lee is catch weight. So now, who's your options? You got Ally Quinta, and you have Justin Gaethje G.
And Tony Ferguson.
Tony's out.
No, he's not.
I made my mystical prediction.
That doesn't matter. If,
all right,
if
look into the camera.
If they're still throwing it on the fucking news, then he's not out. Just because you predicted it doesn't make him out.
I'm mystical. You know I'm always right. You just predicted a MMA media saying that, well, a possibility.
I didn't predict it.
Did Dana White say that?
I just read an article.
From what? From who? Who's the article?
LA Times.
The LA Times.
So what?
Who do you trust? Mystic Moss or the LA Times?
LA Times, because they're a reputable
LA Times
news outlet.
got some fucking monkey.
Of course I trust
some monkey ass motherfuckers. LA Times. LA Times. Fucking fugazi monkey fuckers over there at LA Times. You're a bunch of fugazi monkey fuckers.
You don't even. Okay.
He is gonna get destroyed by anybody. It's been a long. I tell you what, Diaz looks like he's in fantastic shape. I thought I wanted him over Poirier because I picked Diaz versus Poirier over Poirier, but it doesn't matter now, right? Knows less than LA Times to Steve Johnson. Aldo versus Diaz 230. Are you guys hotboxing? Yes, we're farting all over the place.
Yeah, but I think that you should open the window because it's getting hot in here.
So take off all your clothes.
So take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot. I want to take my clothes.
Masvidal versus Nate. Jorge Masvidal. You know what? I mean, Nate Diaz at a catch weight or at 170 is a possibility, but the question is who? Colby Covington? You know, there's a bunch of options. You know, if you do that. Tickle Jessie until she pisses herself. Howard the Duck in the back seat. Yeah. Oh, that does look like Howard the Duck, right? No, that's the MMA-Holes logo, but it's backwards because the camera's backwards for some reason. But it says
Montana.
Montana, what up? The MMAHoles.com, and then it has the logo. Because we're Wonderful 105, the shirt and the fucking tattoo. Jessie's got nothing MMA Holes on, but she's got the New York Giants.
Because we're supposed to go.
Yeah, why are we still here?
Tattoo.
Hold on. I saw my name. Not even Mystic Moss could have predicted Brock Lesnar ending Undertaker's WrestleMania streak.
And he wants to read the comment, but if my name shows up, we just skip it.
You are triggered. Cyborg versus Nate. No burnouts. Diaz ain't fighting till December now. What's this? Who's saying this? Jerome Boyd. Man, is that your prediction or is that something you read? Remember, Nate made money from Conor. Will not take a small payday. Nate, I have a feeling of this. No matter who Nate fights, Dustin Poirier is not a big draw, right? Dustin is not a big draw, so I don't think it really matters who Nate fights at this point. I think Nate's going to bring the money, and he's going to be paid whatever, no matter what. Who said Masvidal, that was a great idea? Well, Masvidal is at 170. So unless Nate goes up to 170, yeah, Eddie versus Aldo. Nate might just walk. That's realistic. I hope Nate doesn't walk, but who are you going to put there? All right, I think this is a conversation for the comment section down below. Jesse, any last thoughts to these people?
I think that we will see a possible Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz for UFC 230 co-main event. I think that all of Mystic Moss's predictions, albeit completely bizarre, might also be true. I think I have to pee really bad. And I also think that you should not be an a-hole, but be an MMA-Hole.
Tell us what you think in the comment section down below.